Let's talk about the Beta Arts Festival 2023, an annual fringe event that showcases the richness of African arts and culture through diverse artistic expressions. And if we've learned anything from the year 2023, it is the importance of platforms that help people showcase these artistic expressions. Now, this is also hosted by the Beta Universal Arts Foundation. This festival is now standing as a multifaceted celebration. Think about it. It's not just film, it's not just TV. It encompasses African theater, music, exhibitions, dance, food, festival markets, events, workshops, conversations. I mean, it is a lot. And I'm so excited it is coming to the FCT. Joining me to speak on this, Bikiya Graham Douglas. It's interesting we're having a conversation barely a month after the last time we had one, because I know during AFRIF you were instrumental. You're also working on Fumilayo Ransom Kuti, or you worked on it. How are you here right now?
I have no idea.
How are you doing it all?
Well, you just have to get on with it. But for Fumilayo, we shot that a year ago.
Okay.
So it just came out. And for AFRIF, I wasn't really involved in the planning. I was more like a facilitator, a resource person.
Okay.
But we were planning this all along. And as you said, it's our 3rd edition. And we're very excited. FCT is waking up to arts and culture again.
Yes.
And our decision to bring this cultural intervention to FCT was not a bad idea at all. So we're very excited about it.
Now, I wanted to talk about bringing this festival to the FCT. Some people would basically argue that Abuja is not the most culturally sensitive location. You know, yesterday I had a fantastic event with a couple of Nollywood actors who actually flew in from Lagos. And what everybody just kept saying is, okay, so what are you guys doing in Abuja? It just seemed like such a calm city. So I'm quite interested as to why you felt like this is an important space to bring to Lagos, to Abuja rather.
Indeed, exactly what you've just said. It's I think it's an arts and culture intervention, and we needed more of that in FCT. Before I moved to Lagos, I lived in Abuja and there was hardly anything to do here.
Yeah.
You know, and then you go to Lagos and there's just a huge explosion of
to do.
art, culture, everything.
Yeah.
And I just thought, you know what, it's time for us to take it back to Abuja. And we're quite impressed with how it's done. Our first year we had under 2,000 people participate. Last year it came up to 3,700 people.
Wow.
Yes, over the course of 3 days. And so we're expecting a much larger number. We've had a lot of inquiries about it. And just the fact that you can come to one space and you have this explosion of creativity. That's why we're doing this. So you have stage plays, you can watch films, you could be part of a music concert. We have even experiential things where you all have to come up with a story together.
Okay.
Yes, games. You know, so for us, for me, it was, I've gone to fringe festivals across the world and I've seen how you know, it brings everyone together.
It does.
And
truly.
this festival is community focused, because a lot of the festivals that you interact with, like AFRIF that I was participating in, they're industry focused.
Yes.
But this is about bringing the community together and for them to enjoy different expressions of arts.
Now, when I think festivals, you know, there's always all these little segments that people are excited about when it comes to, you know, the prizes, just an opportunity, because I genuinely, like I said in my introduction, a festival is the best place to find an expression for creativity. But apart from finding that expression in that space, because then you have an actual audience who are eager to just taking whatever it is you're providing, a lot of people come to these festivals to find some type of how do I put it? A push, let me put it that way. So what does Beta Arts Festival do with regards to providing that push for a lot of creatives who just are sitting thinking, how am I going to do this?
Okay, for Beta Universal Arts Foundation, our focus is development. And we do that through different projects we work on. And this is just one of those interventions, initiatives to further develop talent. So there's an element of firsts in our festival, where it's first-time director, first-time writer. There's an element of first to this festival, where we're giving these young people opportunities, and not just from Nigeria, because we've curated work from across the continent. continent, and we're giving them opportunities to be alongside people who are already established. So it's very important to us that we continue to develop talent. And as you said, a festival is a ground where you can harness talent and you can give them the push and the confidence, like we're a springboard for their creativity to thrive.
And that's a very important thing to me.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so new narratives, limitless possibilities. That's the theme around the Beta Arts Festival. Now, the creative space is wide. You know, I believe that Abuja has a thriving art scene. You know, you have a lot of collectors, you have a lot of lovers of art, and you have an interesting niche of people who just like the most unusual things, but I find them really, really intriguing. That's on the art side. On the music angle as well, you have a lot of artists and, you know, both established and up and coming, but also artists who are content in their space and in the level of popularity that they've attained. Then you have the actors. You have so many young filmmakers here, especially people who are trying to get into the short film space. So after the Beta Arts Festival, what next?
Okay, so our work is continuous.
Okay.
Just before the Beta Arts Festival, we shot a film here in Abuja, and 90% of the people we worked with are resident in Abuja. So there's an industry that is being created here, and by creating opportunities like this, you further develop the local talent. So after the Beta Arts Festival, we have our Beta Playwright Competition finale. It's a national competition that we've run for the last 6 years, and it's open to people all over Nigeria, and we have 30 states participating.
Oh, wow.
So immediately after the Beta Arts Festival, we're going to go back and have the finale of the Beta Playwright Competition. But focusing on the Beta Arts Festival, it's just been tremendous to see the response from young people, and they're just really excited for their work to be seen. And come the 9th to the 10th of December at the Abuja Continental Hotel, people will get to see all kinds of creativity, and our programming is from 12 in the afternoon to 8 p.m. daily. So on the hour, there's a new show by a young person from Nigeria or Africa, theater and film.
So you mean to tell me that every hour that must be hundreds of people who have in their own space just been curating something to showcase. That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but honestly, it's worth it. And when it all comes together, it's like an explosion. I tell you, when people who come for the festival, they're there from morning till night, they don't go because they're just like, I want to take in the, and then there's food. There's a bit of everything to keep you there. And it's just really celebrating our creativity, our identity, and our diversity.
I love that. Now, theater is a conversation that I think is important to have, because we live in a space where, for instance, in New York, you'd walk on the streets and you just see Broadway this, Broadway that, and you have even the tourist guides selling Broadway tickets. It's a huge space. And in Nigeria, I believe that we're still struggling with that. You know, we're still struggling for people to understand the whole idea behind theater, which is what we call it here. Why do you think there is such a lackluster, and by lackluster, I don't mean there aren't people interested. I just think when we speak of the creative economy, for instance, most people's mind would go to Nollywood and music, but people would hardly mention theater when speaking of the creative economy.
Indeed, and that's something we always talk about. And if you think about it, theater is actually the bedrock of all creativity. And Nollywood that we see today came from the theater. And it's not going anywhere. It's just Nigeria went through a phenomenon and theater sort of lost its way, but it's coming back, and there are people doing amazing things all over Nigeria. Lagos, there's a performance every day, almost every day. And in Port Harcourt, in Enugu, there are people doing things, and we're sort of finding our way back. But one thing that we struggled with was having specific spaces for performance. So like with the Beta Arts Festival, we're having site-specific performance where we adapt our performances to the spaces that we have available. And this is not new to just the Beta Arts Festival. It's happened at other festivals where you give performing artists an opportunity to still perform outside of the confines of a proper theater. So it went through a depression, but I think theater is coming back. And people like me have a responsibility to continue to push theater, and that is exactly what we're doing. And so having a fringe festival where you're bringing all of creativity together, you're going to be creating a new audience, because people who love film, they would they will have an opportunity to see theatre where otherwise they will not have had that. So having a fringe where you bring all of it together, you build new audiences and you share audiences for different expressions of creativity.
Okay, now I am focusing on theatre because off the back of all the festivals that's happened this year, whether it's Cannes, whether it's Afrif, whether, there's been so many different, there's always talk about funding. And when we speak on funding, we're talking about funding short filmmakers, even interview festival, short films, Afrif, feature films, short films, Cannes, short films, feature films, the likes. But who's funding theatre?
Indeed, that's a big...
Who's funding theatre?
Yes,
because we do need that.
Yes, we definitely need funding. And for a lot of us who are performing in that space, we do it purely for the passion of it and we believe in it. And you find yourself putting a lot of resources. But I have to say, I'm really grateful that for the festival this year, we haven't struggled as much as we would normally struggle. We have more partners. Like we're having it at Abuja Continental Hotel and they've really held our hand. They believe in what we're doing and they've supported us. And you have independent companies that you don't even know their names supporting theatre and supporting the festival. So it's we're in a process. We're going to get back, but I'm very optimistic about it. And we just have to continue to create opportunities like this for performing artists to be able to express themselves and to create new audiences for theatre.
1000%. Bikiya Graham Douglas, I am looking forward to the festival. I am a little under the weather, but I am hoping that I will be 1000% at the time the festival begins. And I would love to come see. I love food, good food, and I love art. So food and art, you can just sell me to the SQ.
Trust me, the theatre, what we have curated for you, it's unlike anything anyone has seen. They're very immersive. Yeah, very in your face.
Okay.
So we're definitely going to take you on a journey at the Beta Arts Festival.
Beta Arts Festival 2023, the 9th
to the 10th.
To the 10th.
Yes,
so it's a 2-day festival.
We started early. We have pre-events where we're training young people in FCT. So from the 6th to the 7th, we're training. And then the 8th is our opening ceremony, which I'm hoping you will make.
Okay.
And then the 9th to the 10th, we're going to be at the Abuja Continental Hotel from 12 p.m. in the afternoon to 8 p.m. in the evening. And we also have a spotlight event where women...
Yes, I was going to talk about the spotlight event, because I was wondering, it looked like a screening for a film.
Yes.
Walk me through the spotlight event.
Okay, the spotlight event, being that we're in 16 days of activism, and I'm very passionate about this cause to end GBV in Nigeria. I was very fortunate that Senator Ireti Kingibe, she's partnering with us through her Orange Initiative, Orange Nigeria Initiative.
Yes, I know it.
And the US Embassy, and we're going to be showcasing films about ending GBV and the movement, 16 Days of Activism in Nigeria and across the world to a select audience. So we're very excited about that, yes.
I mean, yesterday, UNDP had a movie showcase, a cast reveal for Deafening Silence.
I was actually there, I saw you, but I had to leave early.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine? So I was just going to say that, when I was hosting that event and I kept on saying that it's something that we are all involved in, sometimes you just say to the people in the room, but to see that even in your own space, you don't need the UN to say, oh, come, let's have it. It's like in several niche spaces, there are activities that are fighting against gender-based violence. Indeed. So I'm very interested in that one, actually. So for the spotlight event, does it happen during the festival?
Yes. It happens during the festival and it's at 4 p.m. on Saturday evening. We're going to be having the spotlight event. We're showing 2 films, one from Nigeria and one from the US, but it's been curated from around the world on the fight against gender-based violence. So we're very excited about that. And there'll be a panel discussion. Yes, and the topic, I'm very excited about the topic.
Tell me, what is it?
Ending SGBV, a hybrid call. That's what...
a hybrid call. That's sexual and gender?
Hybrid call, that means collective.
No, you said SGBV.
Yeah, sexual
gender-based violence. Exactly, that's what I wanted to say. So when you say a hybrid core, could you put that call?
Yes.
So a call to end both sexual and gender-based violence simultaneously.
Indeed.
Why did you feel the need to include the sexual angle to it?
Because gender-based violence, if you look at the history of it, a lot of it is sexual.
Yeah.
Yes. So you can't isolate one from each other. You have to put them together. And we have some really amazing speakers, and you have to come to find out.
No, quite honestly, again, I feel this is a conversation that if no one decides, you know what, I don't like art, I don't like music, I don't like food, I don't like theatre, I don't like anything. You cannot say you do not like the fight to end gender gender-based violence, sexual and gender-based violence, because when you hear some stories, you know, sometimes the world really doesn't hear some of these stories.
Indeed.
You know, sometimes they put a trigger warning before it's talked about in the media.
Yeah.
And then even those stories are sieved. So it's like, okay, let's put a trigger warning, but then let's also like double down on certain details.
Yeah.
But that's the only way the world really gets to know how bad this thing is.
Yes.
So I'm so happy that there's a whole spotlight event around it. And yes, you will be seeing me there because I am
Yay.
such a push for that one.
Indeed.
Bikiya, this has been an amazing conversation.
Thank you so much for having me.
Congratulations
Thank
as
you.
well. You are doing amazing. We love festivals and Arise 360, and we're so happy to be doing this with you.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. So remember the 9th and 10th of December 2023 at the Abuja Continental Hotel, the Beta Arts Festival. Do not miss the Spotlight Showcase. That's what it's called, right?
Yes.
Spotlight Showcase. End gender-based violence.